I bet you didn't know about the lost world beneath the North Sea. Imagine a world swallowed by the sea, a world teeming with life, now lost beneath the waves. This isn't a fantasy, but the true story of Doggerland, a vast landmass that once bridged Britain to mainland Europe. Thousands of years ago, this lost world vanished beneath the North Sea, leaving behind only whispers of its existence. What cataclysmic event could have wiped out such a massive area of land? What secrets lie hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be discovered? Join us as we journey back in time to uncover the truth behind Doggerland and the megaflood that brought about its dramatic end. Our story takes us to the end of the last ice age, a time of dramatic change across the globe. As the glaciers retreated, sea levels rose, slowly redrawing the map of the world. But in the North Sea, something far more catastrophic was brewing, an event that would change the course of history for this region. Doggerland was no mere sliver of land. It was a vast, fertile plain, crisscrossed by rivers and teeming with life. Imagine herds of mammoths and reindeer roaming across grasslands, while hunter-gatherers stalked their prey through dense forests. This was a world of abundance, a paradise lost to the depths. Life in Doggerland was intricately connected to the sea. Archaeological evidence suggests that these ancient people were skilled fishers and hunters, utilizing the rich resources of the surrounding waters. Their settlements, now submerged beneath the waves, hold clues to their way of life and the environment they inhabited. But this idyllic existence was not to last. As the climate continued to warm, the glaciers melted at an alarming rate, pouring vast quantities of water into the oceans. Sea levels rose steadily, slowly encroaching upon the shores of Doggerland. But a far greater threat lay on the horizon. Off the coast of Norway, a colossal glacier held back an unimaginable volume of water. This glacial lake, known as Lake Agassiz, dwarfed any lake in existence today. Its icy dam, weakened by rising temperatures, was a disaster waiting to happen. When the inevitable breach occurred, it unleashed a torrent of water on an unprecedented scale. This megaflood, known as the Storrega Slide, sent billions of gallons of water surging across the North Sea, engulfing everything in its path. Was this the catastrophic event that finally erased Doggerland from the map? Or had rising sea levels already claimed this lost world before the megaflood struck? Join us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of Doggerland and uncover the truth behind its watery demise. Our journey begins during the Middle Stone Age, or Mesolithic period, roughly 10,000 years ago. The last ice age was receding, its icy grip slowly releasing the land. Across Europe, temperatures were rising, transforming the landscape and ushering in a new era. Gone were the vast frozen wastelands of the Ice Age. In their place emerged a world cloaked in verdant forests, teeming with life, a world where Doggerland flourished. Imagine stepping back in time, your feet sinking into the soft earth of Doggerland. The air is alive with the sounds of birdsong and the rustling of leaves. Herds of aurochs, giant wild cattle, graze peacefully in the distance, while red deer dart through the undergrowth. This is a land of giants, where even the trees seem to reach for the heavens. The air is fresh and invigorating, carrying with it the scent of pine needles and damp earth. The silence is broken only by the gentle murmur of a nearby river, its waters teeming with salmon and trout. This is a world where nature reigns supreme, where humans live in harmony with their surroundings. As the sun begins its slow descent, casting long shadows across the land, you stumble upon a group of Mesolithic people. They are gathered around a crackling fire, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the flames. These are the people of Doggerland, hunter-gatherers who have adapted to this rich and bountiful environment. Doggerland wasn't just a vast, featureless plain. It was a land of surprising diversity, shaped by the forces of nature over millennia. Imagine a mosaic of habitats, each with its own unique character. Rolling hills gave way to wide, fertile valleys, carved by ancient rivers that snaked their way towards the sea. Dense forests of oak, elm, and hazel provided shelter for a myriad of creatures, while open grasslands offered grazing for herds of large herbivores. Along the coast, a different world existed. Vast estuaries, rich in nutrients, attracted a wealth of marine life. Oyster beds carpeted the shallows, while crabs and lobsters scuttled among the rocks. This was a paradise for fish, birds, and the people who depended on them for survival. Imagine the sky darkened by flocks of migrating birds, their calls echoing across the water. Further inland, freshwater marshes and bogs provided a haven for a different cast of characters. Dragonflies danced above the water lilies, while frogs croaked from the reeds. These wetlands were not only teeming with life, but also provided essential resources for the people of Doggerland. Reeds were harvested for building materials, while peat bogs offered fuel for their fires. But perhaps the most striking feature of Doggerland was its ever-changing coastline. As sea levels rose and fell, the land itself seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting with the rhythm of the tides. New islands emerged from the waves, only to be swallowed up again centuries later. This dynamic environment, constantly in flux, shaped the lives of its inhabitants in profound ways. The people of Doggerland were intimately connected to their environment. They were skilled hunters, fishers, and gatherers, adept at utilizing the resources of their world. They crafted tools and weapons from flint, bone, and antler, each piece a testament to their ingenuity and craftsmanship. These tools, unearthed from the seabed by archaeologists, offer a glimpse into their lives and the challenges they faced. Their diet was as diverse as the landscape itself. Imagine feasting on freshly caught salmon, roasted over an open fire. Wild boar, deer, and aurochs provided meat, while nuts, berries, and roots supplemented their diet. They understood the rhythms of nature, knowing when and where to find the best food sources. Their beliefs and rituals remain shrouded in mystery, but archaeological evidence suggests a deep connection to the natural world. Cave paintings, etched into the walls of submerged caves, hint at spiritual beliefs and a reverence for the animals they hunted. Perhaps they believed in animal spirits, or in the power of the sea and the sky. They were a resourceful and adaptable people, capable of navigating the challenges of a changing world. They built boats from hollowed-out logs, allowing them to travel across rivers and lakes, and perhaps even to venture out onto the open sea. Their world was one of constant movement, of following the herds and the seasons. Life in Doggerland was not without its challenges. The climate, though warming, was still unpredictable. Winters could be harsh, forcing the people to rely on their stores of food and fuel to survive. Wild animals, while plentiful, posed a constant threat, demanding caution and respect. Yet despite these challenges, life in Doggerland was good. The land provided for their needs, and their communities were strong. They shared their knowledge and skills, passing them down through generations. Their world was one of abundance, a stark contrast to the harsh realities of the Ice Age that preceded it. But this idyllic existence was not to last. The very forces that had shaped Doggerland, the melting glaciers and rising sea levels, were about to unleash a catastrophic event that would change the course of history. The stage was set for a disaster of unimaginable proportions, one that would wipe this lost world off the map forever. Now we explore the early warning signs of the impending disaster and the events that would lead to the megaflood that ended Doggerland. Life in Doggerland, though idyllic, was not without its challenges. The very land itself was in constant flux, shaped by the ebb and flow of the tides and the relentless forces of nature. As the climate warmed, these changes became more pronounced, more ominous. The people of Doggerland, attuned to the rhythms of their world, began to notice subtle shifts. The once abundant hunting grounds yielded fewer prey. Familiar landmarks disappeared beneath the waves, swallowed by the encroaching sea. The elders, repositories of generations of knowledge, spoke of a time when the land stretched far beyond the horizon, a time when their ancestors could walk to lands now separated by water. They told tales of the sea, a fickle mistress who could be both provider and destroyer. Their stories, once dismissed as myths, now carried a chilling ring of truth. The sea, once a source of life, was beginning to feel like a threat. The land itself seemed to shudder and groan underfoot. Earthquakes, though rare, sent tremors through the earth, splitting trees and opening fissures in the ground. Coastal areas, once teeming with life, were battered by increasingly fierce storms. The sea, once a source of tranquility, now roared with a newfound fury. The people of Doggerland, though resilient, couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. Their world, once so familiar, was changing, and not for the better. The signs were subtle at first, easily dismissed, but they were there, whispering warnings on the wind. The land, once a source of stability and abundance, was becoming increasingly unpredictable, a harbinger of the cataclysm to come. As the centuries passed, the subtle changes became impossible to ignore. The rising sea level, a slow and insidious threat, began to claim vast swaths of land. The coastline, once a fixed point of reference, shifted with each passing season, redrawing the map of their world. Villages, once nestled safely inland, found themselves precariously perched on the edge of the abyss. The sea, once a distant neighbor, was now a constant presence, its salty breath a reminder of its growing dominance. The people of Doggerland, forced to adapt, began to migrate inland, seeking higher ground. They abandoned their ancestral homes, carrying with them only what they could carry, leaving behind a trail of memories swallowed by the sea. Each generation witnessed the loss of more land, the slow drowning of their world. A sense of unease settled over the land. A collective anxiety passed down from one generation to the next. The children, born into this changing world, knew no other life. They played on shrinking islands, their laughter echoing across the water, oblivious to the fact that their playground was slowly vanishing beneath their feet. The elders, keepers of the old ways, watched with heavy hearts, their stories taking on a new urgency. The sun, once a symbol of hope and renewal, now seemed to set into a sea that stretched endlessly towards the horizon. The world, once defined by its landmass, was becoming increasingly dominated by water. The very essence of Doggerland, its identity as a land bridge between continents, was slowly being erased. Unbeknownst to the people of Doggerland, a far greater threat was brewing in the far north. The Storrega Slide, a massive submarine landslide off the coast of Norway, was about to unleash a cataclysm of unimaginable proportions. This geological event, triggered by the weight of melting glaciers, would send shockwaves across the North Atlantic, forever altering the landscape of Europe. Imagine a wall of water, taller than any tree, roaring across the North Sea with the force of 1,000 thunders. This tsunami, generated by the Storrega Slide, traveled at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, engulfing everything in its path. Coastal communities, already grappling with rising sea levels, had little chance against this onslaught of nature's fury. The impact was devastating. The tsunami slammed into the shores of Doggerland with unimaginable force, obliterating everything in its wake. Villages were reduced to rubble, forests flattened, and entire ecosystems reshaped in an instant. The land, once a haven, was now a raging torrent of water, debris, and chaos. The survivors, those fortunate enough to escape the initial impact, were left to face a world transformed beyond recognition. Their homes, their livelihoods, their entire way of life, gone in the blink of an eye. The megaflood had arrived, leaving an indelible scar on the face of the earth. The Storrega Slide was not a single event, but a series of catastrophic landslides that unfolded over centuries. Each landslide generated tsunamis that further eroded the coastline of Doggerland, pushing the surviving communities further and further inland. What was once a vast landmass was now a scattering of islands, shrinking with each passing generation. The people of Doggerland, once masters of their domain, were now refugees in their own land. They huddled on shrinking islands, their numbers dwindling, their culture slowly fading from memory. The sea, once a source of sustenance, was now a constant threat, a reminder of their precarious existence. The stories of their ancestors, tales of a time when the land stretched as far as the eye could see, took on a bittersweet quality. They spoke of a lost world, a world swallowed by the sea, a world they would never know. The sun, setting over the vast expanse of the North Sea, cast long shadows over the few remaining islands. Doggerland, the heart of Europe, was no more. The megaflood had claimed its final victim, leaving behind only whispers of a lost world beneath the waves. Life for the people of Doggerland had always been intertwined with the sea. It provided food, trade routes, and shaped their very existence. Yet, on this day, the sea would betray them in a manner more terrifying than they could have ever imagined. It began subtly, a tremor beneath their feet, almost imperceptible, like the earth stretching in its sleep. But this was no ordinary slumber. This was the awakening of a slumbering giant. Out at sea, a sight unseen by human eyes was unfolding. The Storrega Slide, a cataclysmic underwater landslide of unimaginable scale, had begun. Billions of tons of sediment, loosened by the melting glaciers, were on the move, creating an underwater avalanche of epic proportions. The very floor of the North Sea heaved and buckled, releasing a shockwave that rippled outward at terrifying speed. Back on Doggerland, the subtle tremor escalated into a violent jolt. Huts shook, trees swayed, and birds scattered in a flurry of feathers and panicked cries. The people, accustomed to the land's gentle rhythms, were gripped by a primal fear. Something was terribly wrong. Their instincts told them to run, to seek higher ground, but where could they go? And then, the sea retreated. What was once a familiar shoreline, teeming with life, transformed into a vast alien landscape of exposed seabed. Fish flapped helplessly on the sand, and shellfish clung desperately to rocks, as if sensing the impending doom. It was a chilling premonition, a brief, terrifying glimpse of the power that was about to be unleashed. On the horizon, a dark line appeared, stretching from one end of the world to the other. It grew larger with each passing second, transforming from a distant smudge to a monstrous wall of water. This was no ordinary wave. This was a tsunami, a force of nature unlike anything ever witnessed by human eyes. It roared towards Doggerland with a deafening roar, carrying with it the fury of 1,000 storms. The impact was instantaneous and utterly devastating. The wall of water slammed into the exposed coastline, crushing everything in its path. Forests that had stood for millennia were snapped like twigs. Animals, both predator and prey, were swept away in the torrent, their desperate cries swallowed by the roar of the waves. Mesolithic villages, built with love and care over generations, were obliterated in the blink of an eye, leaving behind only splintered wood and scattered possessions. The tsunami surged inland, its relentless force carving new channels through the land, reshaping the very geography of Doggerland. Those who had sought refuge on higher ground watched in horror as the water rose around them, engulfing their world in a swirling vortex of destruction. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The lucky ones were swept away quickly, their deaths mercifully swift. Others clung desperately to whatever debris they could find. Trees, rocks, the remnants of their shattered homes, only to be tossed and battered by the relentless waves. The very air was filled with the taste of salt and the stench of death. As quickly as it had arrived, the tsunami receded, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable devastation. Where once there had been a vibrant landscape of rolling hills, forests, and rivers, now lay a watery graveyard. The air, heavy with the smell of salt and decay, was thick with silence. The only sounds were the mournful cries of seabirds circling overhead and the gentle lapping of water against the debris-strewn shoreline. The once lush forests of Doggerland were reduced to a tangled mess of uprooted trees, mud, and the shattered remnants of homes. The bodies of animals, both large and small, lay scattered across the landscape, grim testament to the tsunami's indiscriminate fury. The very earth seemed to have been scarred, forever marked by the passage of the wave. Amidst the devastation, a handful of survivors emerged, blinking in the pale sunlight, their faces etched with shock and disbelief. They had cheated death, but at a terrible cost. Their world, their families, their entire way of life, all gone, swept away in a matter of hours. They were the lucky ones, and yet their survival felt more like a curse than a blessing. Numbly, they began to search for loved ones, their calls echoing unanswered across the desolate landscape. They sifted through the wreckage of their homes, clinging to the smallest of mementos, a broken comb, a child's toy, anything that could provide a flicker of connection to the world that had been stolen from them. The Storrega Slide, though a single event, marked the beginning of the end for Doggerland. The tsunami, while devastating, was merely the first in a series of blows that would permanently reshape the landscape. The land, already weakened and fragmented, was now even more vulnerable to the rising sea levels that had been slowly encroaching for centuries. Over the following centuries, the sea continued its relentless advance. The islands that had once offered refuge to the surviving communities shrank and disappeared beneath the waves. The people of Doggerland, their numbers dwindling, were forced to migrate once more, seeking safety on the higher ground of what is now mainland Europe. The knowledge of Doggerland, of its people, its culture, its very existence, faded from memory, preserved only in the oral traditions of scattered tribes and the submerged ruins that lay hidden beneath the waves. It became a whisper in the wind, a legend passed down through generations, a haunting reminder of the power of nature to both create and destroy. Today, the North Sea conceals the secrets of Doggerland. Fishermen casting their nets sometimes dredge up remnants of that lost world. Stone tools, animal bones, even the occasional human skeleton, preserved for millennia in the cold, dark depths. These artifacts serve as poignant reminders of the vibrant civilization that once thrived in this now submerged landscape. The North Sea, once the heart of Doggerland, now holds the keys to its past. Fishermen, casting their nets in these waters, occasionally find themselves pulling up more than just the day's catch. Tangled amongst the fish and seaweed, they discover strange, unyielding objects, remnants of a civilization lost to time. These aren't treasures of gold or jewels, but artifacts far more precious fragments of Doggerland's story. A simple antler, worn smooth by the sea, reveals intricate carvings, symbols of a belief system lost to the waves. A flint arrowhead, still sharp after millennia, speaks volumes about the ingenuity and hunting prowess of Doggerland's people. These artifacts, scattered across the seabed, are like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle, each one offering a tantalizing glimpse into a vanished world. In recent decades, archaeologists have begun to explore the depths of the North Sea, using sonar technology to map the submerged landscape and diving expeditions to uncover its secrets. Their work has revealed the outlines of ancient riverbeds, the foundations of dwellings, and even the remnants of a massive forest, its trees preserved by the cold, oxygen-deprived waters. These discoveries, carefully preserved and studied, are piecing together the story of Doggerland, allowing us to imagine the lives of the people who called this lost world home. They weren't mythical beings, but real people with families, traditions, and dreams. People who faced the challenges of their time with resilience and ingenuity. The story of Doggerland isn't just about the past. It's a story that continues to unfold today. Scientists, studying sediment cores extracted from the seabed, are uncovering a wealth of information about the environment of Doggerland, its climate, its flora and fauna, and the forces that led to its demise. They're analyzing ancient pollen grains, fossilized insects, and even the DNA of long-extinct animals, all preserved in the layers of mud and sand. By piecing together this ecological puzzle, scientists are gaining a deeper understanding of the complex interplay of climate change, sea level rise, and human adaptation in a rapidly changing world. Doggerland serves as a stark reminder that our planet is in a constant state of flux, and that even seemingly stable landscapes can be drastically altered by the forces of nature. The story of Doggerland is also a story about us. By studying the fate of this lost world, we can learn valuable lessons about our own vulnerability to natural disasters, the importance of adapting to a changing environment, and the interconnectedness of all life on Earth. The echoes of Doggerland's past resonate in the present, urging us to listen to the whispers of our planet and to tread lightly on the Earth. The story of Doggerland is a story that belongs to all of us, a reminder of the power of nature, the fragility of human existence, and the enduring legacy of the past. Though Doggerland vanished beneath the waves millennia ago, its memory lives on. Along the coastlines of England, Denmark, and the Netherlands, memorials and museums stand as testaments to this lost world and the people who called it home. They serve as poignant reminders of the power of nature to both create and destroy, and the importance of remembering the past as we navigate the challenges of the present. The story of Doggerland has captured the imagination of writers, artists, and filmmakers, inspiring countless works of fiction and non-fiction. These creative interpretations, though often speculative, help to keep the memory of Doggerland alive, inviting us to imagine the lives of its people, their culture, and their beliefs. Through virtual reality experiences, we can now virtually dive beneath the waves and explore the submerged landscape of Doggerland, encountering its flora and fauna, and even interacting with its people. These technologies offer a glimpse into a world lost to time, fostering a deeper connection to the past and a greater appreciation for the fragility of our planet. The story of Doggerland reminds us that the Earth is constantly changing, and that what we consider to be permanent fixtures on our planet are but fleeting moments in geological time. It teaches us to respect the power of nature, to cherish the delicate balance of life, and to remember that even the greatest civilizations can be swept away by the tides of time. The story of Doggerland may seem like a distant echo from the past, but it holds a powerful message for our time. As we grapple with the challenges of climate change and rising sea levels, the fate of this lost world serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of our actions. Just as the people of Doggerland were forced to adapt to a changing environment, so too must we confront the realities of our warming planet. We must reduce our carbon footprint, develop sustainable technologies, and work together to protect the delicate balance of our planet for future generations. The story of Doggerland is not just a story of loss, but also a story of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring spirit of humanity. It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we have the capacity to learn, to adapt, and to create a better future. The story of Doggerland is a call to action, a reminder that we are all connected to the fate of our planet. By learning from the past, respecting the present, and shaping the future, we can ensure that our story, unlike that of Doggerland, will be one of survival, adaptation, and hope. The North Sea, now a bustling waterway connecting nations and commerce, holds a secret beneath its waves. It whispers of a time when mammoths roamed and humans lived in harmony with nature. A time before written history, a time we call Doggerland. Though swallowed by the sea millennia ago, Doggerland's story is far from over. It lives on in the echoes of the past, urging us to listen, to learn, and to remember. The tale of Doggerland is a poignant reminder of the impermanence of our world. Landscapes we consider fixed and eternal are but fleeting moments in geological time. The Earth breathes, it changes, it reshapes itself with a power far exceeding our own. Doggerland, once a vast bridge between continents, now lies submerged, a hidden world waiting to be rediscovered. Yet Doggerland's story is not just about loss and the relentless march of time. It's a testament to the resilience of life, the adaptability of humans, and the enduring power of memory. From the depths of the North Sea, Doggerland speaks to us, not with words, but with the tangible remnants of its existence. Stone tools, fossilized bones, and the haunting outlines of submerged settlements. These artifacts, carefully unearthed and studied, are like puzzle pieces, each one helping us to reconstruct a picture of a vanished world. They tell of a people intimately connected to their environment, skilled hunters and gatherers who thrived in a land teeming with life. Doggerland's legacy is a reminder that even in the face of extraordinary challenges, life finds a way, adapts, and endures. Though lost beneath the waves, Doggerland's influence extends far beyond its watery grave. It played a pivotal role in shaping the demographics and cultures of early Europe, acting as a land bridge that facilitated the movement of people, ideas, and technologies. The hunter-gatherers who called Doggerland home were not isolated, but part of a vast network of interconnected communities stretching across the continent. Their movements, driven by the ebb and flow of the seasons and the availability of resources, helped to spread knowledge of tool-making, hunting techniques, and even artistic traditions. The echoes of Doggerland's cultural influence can be seen in the archaeological record of mainland Europe, where similarities in pottery styles, burial practices, and even cave paintings hint at a shared heritage. Furthermore, the submergence of Doggerland had profound consequences for the people who were forced to abandon their homes and seek refuge elsewhere. This mass displacement of people, driven by rising sea levels and the loss of their homeland, likely contributed to the development of new settlements and the emergence of distinct cultural groups as they adapted to new environments and interacted with existing populations. The story of Doggerland, though seemingly lost to time, is woven into the very fabric of European history. It serves as a reminder that the past is never truly gone, but rather shapes the present in ways both seen and unseen. By understanding Doggerland's story, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complex tapestry of human history and the forces that have shaped our world. Doggerland's story is far from over. It continues to be written with each new discovery, each artifact brought up from the seabed, each piece of data analyzed. The quest to understand this lost world is a call to adventure, a challenge to explore not only the depths of our oceans, but also the depths of our own history. New technologies such as advanced sonar mapping, underwater robotics, and even virtual reality reconstructions are offering unprecedented opportunities to explore and experience Doggerland in ways never before imagined. Imagine virtually walking through a submerged forest, encountering long-extinct creatures, or even interacting with a Mesolithic family in their dwelling, all made possible by the power of technology. But the quest to understand Doggerland is not just a scientific endeavor, it's a human one. It's about connecting with our shared past, learning from the experiences of those who came before us, and using that knowledge to navigate the challenges of the present and future. So, let us dive into the depths of Doggerland's story with open minds and curious hearts. Let us explore its submerged landscapes, uncover its hidden secrets, and share its story with the world. For in understanding Doggerland, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our planet, and the interconnectedness of all life. And as we face the challenges of a changing world, let the story of Doggerland serve as both a warning and a source of inspiration, reminding us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, the human spirit, like life itself, finds a way to endure. Fade to black.